Hello internet! Let's talk about family channels, because this is one of those topics that everyone and their grandma seems to dance around and pretend that it's not as big of an issue as it is, and I just don't understand why people aren't talking about this as much as they should be anyways. Because it comes up on my feed every now and again. I'm going to put this out here now. This isn't a call-out video. Well, I'm not going to be naming anyone specific. You can gauge for yourself the type of accounts and people that I mean, right? And in my opinion, the more normal people act about it and the less that people talk about it, it feels weirder for me. So let's just talk about them for a few minutes. Also, quick apology for that. If throughout this video I hiccup now and again, or quite a lot, I apologise. I've had on-off hiccups all day. It's really annoying, but I wanted to post this anyways, because these type of channels, they come up and they sit on my mind every now and again, and I couldn't wait to talk about it, because nobody in my social circle seems to understand what I mean when I say family channels. Okay, sorry. So I want to be clear, because people love to misunderstand this, that when I say family channels, I'm not talking about parents who post a cute photo once in a while, or, you know, those people who post a birthday post or a cute holiday vlog or a photo captioned, "Look, my 4-year-old lost a tooth," or anything like that. I'm talking about channels and accounts where the child's life is the content, where all of their routines, their emotions, their breakdowns, all of their medical stuff, all of their milestones, everything is filmed, uploaded, monetized, and archived on the internet for everyone to find. Because that's not just sharing cute moments. That is turning your child and their childhood into a product, into something that you can sell and get money from. I'm going to get into this segment as early as possible. I'm so sorry. I've been trying to get rid of these hiccups all day. They just won't go away. The only time they've gone away is when I was lying on my bed on my front. But obviously I can't lie in my bed on my front all day. No. So we're going to get into this segment as early as possible, because a lot of people tend to get quite defensive about this topic, yeah? And it's consent. Now, I know a lot of people will be under the assumption that consent only applies to tea, if you get what I'm saying. But it doesn't. It applies to really anything. People will say, especially like the people who are recording them, will say something along the lines of, when they're called out, the kids are fine with it and that they're like being on camera. But children, especially young children, children, they don't understand the permanence of it. They don't fully understand what it means to have their entire childhood searchable online. And they don't a lot of the time, they don't understand what it means to have strangers recognize them. Why did we move on from stranger danger so quickly, by the way? Were these family vloggers not taught stranger danger growing up? Because I'm sorry, if you're recording your children's entire lives and posting it all over the internet for anyone to see, and then those people are coming up to you in public and they're recognizing your children and they're asking about your children, especially when your children are nearby, is that not dangerous? Is that not a safety concern? And I mean, they're children. They don't understand. A lot of the time, they don't understand the long-term consequences of it. So of course, when a parent asks a child, hey, do you want to be on camera? Like, let's record this, because a lot of the time they won't even ask. They'll just say something along the lines of, oh, hey, let's record this. And that child says yes. Those say, yeah, okay, what they're actually saying. Sorry, I've had a really itchy nose all day as well. When that child says yes, what they're really saying is, okay, I trust you. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. When will they go away? When will these hiccups go away? But again, that child saying yes, that's not consent. That's a child saying that they trust you not to be unethical, in a sense, with what you are recording. But that trust is being used for views and money. And since the child a lot of the time doesn't understand that yet, because parents will record their children when they're really, really young, the fact that they've agreed to it doesn't make it ethical. It means that a lot of the time, that power imbalance between parent with a camera and child who doesn't know what's going on is completely invisible. The parallel lines that don't cross. The child is unaware of the unethics of it because they just think that their parent is trying to save memories and remember what they were like as a child for when they grow up. Speaking of the fact that they're being used for views and money, let's talk about the money aspect of it really quickly, because a lot of people, for goodness sake, a lot of people hate to acknowledge it, but if the channel would not exist without the children, if your source of income would not exist online without your children, that is exploitation. It means you have turned your children from children with normal childhoods into a product for the public. Now, I'll say this now, it does not mean that the parents do not love that child. But love does not cancel out that exploitation. Love does not mean that exploitation of your children is okay and something that you should be doing, especially on the regular. And think about this. It's not just the views and the subscription services that they offer that give them the money. These people are putting adverts and sponsorships into their videos. These people are getting brand deals based on their children's vulnerability. They are getting brand deals and they are selling products based, like, the whole basis of it is off of their children's face, their children's online curated personality. Because let's be so for real, these children, a lot of them do not act like how they do online in real life. A lot of the time, these parents are coaching their children on how to act and what to say in the video. And why, may I just ask, why am I being sold something while a child is screaming and crying in the background because you refuse to teach them how to regulate their own emotions? Why? Why am I being sold a product, a weight loss product, an armband, some dodgy sportswear or something, while a child is screaming, crying and bawling their eyes out in the background because you are not helping your child? Why is it considered so normalised to let children be in such a state while you are less than 10 feet away talking about your brand new sponsorships and brand deals that you have built off of their meltdowns? Let's also bring up the topic of parasocial relationships between random strangers and your children. Because this part, it's one of the parts that gets to me the most about this whole thing. The audience. There are strangers watching your children grow up. There are 50-year-old dudes who have not very good intentions a lot of the time watching your children grow up. They know these children's names, their routines, their personalities, where they like to shop. They know their interests. And what gets to me is that they sometimes even know these children's schools. And some of the comments on these videos will literally mention this type of stuff, and they'll say like, oh hey, I've been watching you since you were a baby. I've been watching you since you were I've been watching you since you were 2, like since you were a literal toddler. And that means that is a child who cannot consent, who does not understand fully what is going on, who is growing up with thousands, hundreds of thousands, and sometimes even millions of invisible observers from all around the globe. Think about that for a second. A 4-year-old, for example, a 4 to 6-year-old, growing up with millions and millions of people from around the globe watching their every meltdown, their every tantrum, their every upset, their every emotion, their everyday life. Think about that. Really, really think about that. because that is not a childhood. And I've said it multiple times already. I'm going to say it again. That is exploitation. It is not okay. And again, these children, they cannot consent to having their whole life filmed when they don't know the dangers or the risks and they don't understand it properly. Now, I'm going to emotionally hold your hand when I say this. I don't think that a lot of those parents have bad intentions. I think that they have learned through watching others do the same thing that the internet rewards behaviour that should make us pause and think about if it is really worth it. And people get addicted to that reward. I understand that it is an easier source of income than, say, a 9 to 5. But income should not require exploiting your child. And your children's protection should not require an audience's approval. And it doesn't require that. Neither of them require that. But a lot of people act as if that is the case. I do personally believe that if technology was not the way that it is, that a lot of these families would be just regular, normal families. Because let's be so real. If the technology that we had today did not exist, there would be nowhere for these families to be posting their children's lives and to be exploiting them for money. I don't even think a lot of them realise that they're exploiting their children for money. It might not be their intention, they might not realise it, but that is what they are doing. And just because that's something online gets views, it doesn't mean it should exist. It exists. Just because something online gets views and likes and subscribers, it does not mean that it should be something that exists and is available to the general public. Anyway.